In a world full of tutorials on how to be yourself, an algorithm of aura guides, and personalities built by trends, what's really considered cool? Are you cool? And why would anyone care? What's it mean to be cool? You know it when you see it, but it can be difficult to put into words, which is exactly why it's a question mankind has been asking for centuries. ChatGPT says being cool is often about embodying certain traits and behaviors that are admired or respected by others. With common qualities like confidence, authenticity, and style, you'd think that by adopting these traits, they might make you cool, but that's the loophole, which I'll let this guy explain better than I could.
Can't want to try to be a cool person, because if you're trying to be a cool person, well, that's just not cool to try to be a cool person, because cool people don't really try to be cool.
In the realm of being cool, social media has played a massive role, both good and evil. The youth used to decide what was cool as they're insecure by default and actively searching for who they are, making them the easiest to market to. However, now the masses decide using social media. In general, I feel social media has more so hurt celebrities and helped the everyday man like me and you. Living in Maine, I would have way different interest and taste if YouTube and Instagram didn't exist, where I'd probably care about the outdoors and have calloused hands from working hard, which, thinking about, might be actually kinda cool. Celebrities, however, were a lot cooler when you had no clue what their day-to-day life consisted of, and you could only learn about them through occasional interviews. With no mystery behind their status, they really are people like me and you, except most are generally way less cool, being that their every move and word is calculated by management teams and corporations to keep their job. Looking at celebrities who are considered cool, Ye is probably the wildest case study. If there was a time for Ye to be completely cancelled or written off, it would have happened already. It seems taking a break from the public eye and returning with an album and affordable products can solve anything. What's really crazy to me is how well pricing everything $20 on Yeezy Supply actually performed. It 100% helped that Kanye has mentioned trying to do this before, but was limited by previous brands he was working with, which made the Yeezy Supply releases come off more so as him fulfilling a favor, rather than just selling you cheap clothes. Ye also successfully disassociated with the Adidas Yeezys, which was hugely beneficial for his image, as the recent re-releases have tanked any allure that was still behind the partnership. With a career full of ups and downs, the downs become expected, allowing people to disregard the bad within time and continue to pull from his influence. Looking at brands, you've got Balenciaga. Whether you think it was outrage marketing similar to previous campaigns or confirmation of fashion devil worshippers, it hasn't changed the youth's perception towards wearing the brand. To enjoy Balenciaga in the first place, you have to have an understanding and appreciation for internet culture, which has also made people numb to caring about controversy, and as we've seen, let the situation blow over with time. Cool sells itself and might be the most OP marketing concept. If I owned a brand in 2024, I know I'd most likely plaster Y2K graphics on cropped boxy tees, but if I change my mind, here's my two other go-tos. Step 1 of the What's the Hype 5K Masterclass is treat customers as poorly as possible, and there's a real art to this. First, you need some action, which is easily accomplished by knowing the right people to get your clothes on. Make the brand account private. All the beginning drops should have incredibly low stock for quick sellout times, keeping the most limited stuff to if you know pieces, and recognizable pieces for the occasional accessible drop to keep customers' dopamine receptors firing and building emotional dependence. If done correctly, they'll want that hit of dopamine again and again, but should likely get hit with an out-of-stock cart at checkout. Once accomplished, rinse and repeat. Step 2, most people into fashion and social media are looking for social acceptance. If you're still in school, you want to be noticed for your appearance and probably appear like you have some money. If you're older, you want to look like your taste level is above average. Knowing this information, I'd want to market my stuff one of two ways. Nostalgia is extremely powerful in this aspect because it takes us away from a current manufactured internet culture and connects us to past culture, which feels like it has some meaning. Tastefully sprinkle in some nostalgic moodboard fit pics that inspired the current collection and watch them eat it up. More so for the younger audience, I'd shift towards irony and poking at the zeitgeist of fashion. It works because it feels niche, like you need to be in the know to understand why it's good. This way your designs can be literal garbage, which is kind of the point, and you can just search for what's so greatly considered uncool that it becomes cool for this reason. Having a childhood fueled full of G.I. Joes, Call of Duty, and coming from a military family, it shouldn't have been any surprise that I'd find interest within the military's influence in fashion. Immediately, there's a very obvious aesthetic appeal of structured silhouettes and muted color palettes, but beyond that initial attraction from the aesthetic is probably the biggest benefits of functionality and utility. I was super excited to see Vare's offerings of military-inspired watches, with them reaching out to partner with the channel. Thanks to their support, I'm able to make these videos a reality. I went with the A3 and I'm super glad I made that choice. As Vare describes the A3 having the perfect balance of competing ideas, simultaneously traditional and modern, elegant and rugged, simple and complex. I love that this watch can go with me anywhere and work for all occasions. If creating a perfect everyday watch wasn't enough, Vare watches are ocean ready and the largest independent watch assembler within the United States. If you enjoyed the videos, definitely check Vare out. You know, maybe the most important takeaway of this video is to identify what's killing your precious aura. Easily the biggest killer is flexing, which, oddly enough, is commonly mistaken for being cool. Everyone's guilty of it, from you posting your latest pickups to Gma posting the grandkids on Facebook. Unfortunately, flexing has become a lost art. I want to know what happened to the hypebeast shopping sprees and room tours. With the death of the hypebeast era, it's unfortunately all about the subtle flex, and following the formula to a good post of recent pickups, food, travel pictures, and a trendy hobby like rock climbing or run clubs, while most importantly, attempting to seem as authentic as possible. If you aren't guilty of flexing, it may have something to do with these guys. The infamous Panda Dunks were a weird situation. There may have been some justified hate for the shoes feeling played out, basic, or bad quality, but overall the trend to hate was to feel different, which lasted way longer than expected. It seemed like everyone enjoyed Dunks during their craze that was not only massive online, but equally as impressive in person, even in Maine. So by publicly disliking them, you had a crazy insider fashion take that stood out. We've seen somewhat similar results with the deceased heart shoe, biker denim, 550s, bait hoodies, and revenge storms, but none near the pandas. You'd think maybe it's safe to lean on the classics, but cool is always changing. 4 years ago, we saw ones and dunks that are all sitting on the shelf, seeming like the coolest footwear, which I still believe they are, but as of right now, it's not the same. The trend is who can hate on the latest trends first, which I've talked about many times before. With fashion and social media being image and ego driven, what's considered cool is too often seen through exclusivity and resale prices. So is there any way to identify if what's cool now will age properly? To find the answer, we need to take a look into the history books. In a thread posted 7 years ago, here are 3 of the top answers for what wasn't considered cool. Up first, we have cargo shorts, mullets, and Jinko jeans, which, as you're probably aware, have all been relevant within the last couple years. Understand what's cool now will age poorly because nothing is truly ever timeless. Even knowing one man's cool is another man's lame, as far as I'm concerned, here's an all-time list of things that will never age poorly. Going to the movies alone, working out in impractical clothing, being a hitman, cowboy camping, keeping your word, having a twin, and chain nets on basketball hoops. If you enjoyed this video, go check out some more. I'll see you next time. Peace.